Welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, November 9th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do all day, every day. So we are going to be talking a lot about knitting today. I got so much done, everybody. I'm kind of impressed. Actually, I'm not kind of impressed, I'm very impressed with myself. Also, change that I mentioned last week has happened and I now have bangs because I do love it. I have these cute little headbands that my mom found. Can't go wrong. So, yes, I have a lot of knitting to talk about. It's mainly just knitting and then just random whatever tangent I may get on today because who knows what that will be like. I never know until I'm actually talking about it. And even then, I'm not very sure where I am going with my thought process. So this is very raw, unedited footage here at the Cat Knit Podcast. Anyway, if you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I am most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. I also have show notes. Links to things that I will be talking about will be on my blog. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog already, everything is already there. If you'd like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, laundry to fold, making dinner, I have a pot roast in the crock pot and it's making the apartment smell so good. I'm very excited, though it is warmer today and this week. But going back to what I was talking about, if you'd like to do any of those things, or all of the above, or none of the above, whatever you so desire, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. It's very hot tea. Whoa, 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 that's very hot. So, everyone, first of all, you can't see this, but I could stand up in just a moment, but if you are unfamiliar with linen clothing, I'm sure we all know what linen clothing is. It's basically just clothing that's made out of linen. Wow, what a groundbreaking thought process that is. There is a company that I love very dearly, and I have been gifted like from my parents for Christmas, or I bought as well pieces from this company that is called Not Perfect Linen, and they are absolutely wonderful. They're all handmade and it's really great. It's a wonderful small business if you're looking to support a small business for the holidays. I will say that because it is handmade, you do have to order things pretty far in advance, so if you are interested in that, I would get on that as soon as possible. But I got this skirt, and it's like bright, this is very close, but it's bright yellow, and I really love it, and it also has pockets, you know? Here's snaps. It's got elastic on the waist. It's super comfortable. It arrived in the mail. I put it on, and my outfit today was just elevated by 1,000 points. 1,000 cool points, 1,000 comfy points. It was wonderful. So I would highly recommend you checking out what they have. They have a bunch of styles and pieces. Shirts, skirts, dresses, pantsuits, jackets, also things like curtains and pillowcases, and then you get to pick out the fabric, or the color, I should say, because it's all linen. And these are pieces that will last forever and ever and ever and ever, and they're wonderful. So they are a little bit of an investment, but again, they are handmade. The quality of everything is incredible, and it's just really awesome. So I just wanted to point that out because I'm feeling fabulous in my yellow skirt today. You know, and I just wanted to share. So we have a very warm color palette. I have my yellow headband, my peachy striped shirt, and then my bright yellow skirt. I love it. Anyway, going back to knitting and all the knitting that I've done. So today I have 2 finished objects. I have 2 brand new projects. I have the Mystery Knit Along and then a very old project, and then I have yarn acquisitions. One that was sent to me for a sample that I'm going to be knitting, and then one that I got for myself at the Tinsmith's Wife in Comfort, Texas. Very fun. So, if you haven't seen last week's episode, you may be kind of confused. Or not. Maybe not confusing at all. Maybe very clear. But this past weekend, Sam and I took a kind of like get away from everything weekend. We went out to Boerne, Texas, which is kind of in the hill country. Actually, it is in the hill country. We stayed in a little tiny house in the woods that was on some people's property, and they had a bunch of like trails that we didn't realize that they had, so we got to walk on a bunch of trails. We saw some deer. There was a cemetery on this land that we wandered around, that there were some very old graves. And yeah, it was just so much fun. It was very relaxing. The signal and everything was very terrible. Which sounds like it's a bad thing, but in reality it was actually very nice. I did post some things on my story and whatever throughout the weekend, but for the most part my signal was pretty terrible, which is, again, not a bad thing. They had a fire pit. We made s'mores. Sam, my husband, fun fact about him, he is an Eagle Scout and loves making fires. So he was very happy to find that out, and had fun but taking care of the fire. And then they had like the s'mores, like little packaged, there was marshmallow, chocolate, and graham crackers, obviously, that they kept in their refrigerator, that for their Airbnb guests, whatever. It was so much fun. It was chilly. It was kind of spooky sometimes. There were fairy lights. It was so much fun. Very relaxing. We had so much good food, trying local restaurants and whatever. On Saturday, we spent most of the day in Comfort we went to a distillery, because my husband is very much into that kind of thing, and breweries and wineries. We thought about doing a winery and the distillery, but the distillery ended up being just so much fun, and we didn't really want to like overdo it, so we had so much fun at the distillery. It was called the Hill Country Distillers. So if you ever go to the Hill Country, or maybe you live in the Hill Country, I would highly recommend checking them out. It's a very small operation, but the people are so nice, and they're such hard workers for what they do, and it's really incredible. And they create delicious, I think they're technically called spirits. They're not really, they do have a gin, and they have liqueurs, but it's made out of prickly pear and jalapenos. I'm not a jalapeno fan. That's not my thing. I don't really do spice, big spice, but the way that they make this apparently has to do with how they like infuse it, and the air vapors and the oils from the jalapenos, because the oil is what is the spicy part, and because that it doesn't like evaporate into the alcohol, it isn't spicy. So you get the taste and like the I don't even know what to call it, like the taste of a jalapeno minus the spice. And I think it would make an incredible margarita, as with the prickly pear stuff into a margarita. It's very good. Would highly recommend you checking it out if you're in the Hill Country. Then we went to the Tinsmith's Wife. We did that before in Comfort. And then we drove around and randomly ended up at a state park that had a cool tunnel with a lot of bats in it. Took a little hike, a very random hike, but it was really wonderful. And yeah, we had semi-plans, but it was still very spontaneous at the same time, which is super fun. I really, obviously I love spending time with my husband. He's wonderful. I love him dearly. But I just really enjoy going on adventures like that with him. I think it's really fun, and we're both supportive of each other's like hobbies and interests. So he was so happy to hang around the yarn store. He would walk around by himself looking at things. He would walk around with me. He'd ask questions, and then we went to the distillery. So that was cool for him. And so I feel like we just have a lot of fun together. And I got some yarn, and I got a lot of knitting done, and it was really amazing. So I'm going to take a tea break, and then we're going to get into talking about the things that I finished. So first off, I'm going to move my yarn acquisitions down there. I did what I said I was going to do, everyone. I finished my Forager Sweater test knit for Isabel Kramer. Before we left, I got it blocked, and then I got to take some amazing pictures out in nature. It was stunning and amazing, and I loved it so much. And again, Sam was very kind and took some pictures for me because I didn't want to lug my tripod everywhere on our walk. So this is my Forager sweater, and I love it. This is 100% one of my favorite things I've knit this year. I think it is a wonderfully written pattern. We have faux cables on the front and the back and the sleeves, and then we've got 2 of them on the side. Whoop. Down there. I used Ulysse from Durum Natura. This is the quartz colorway. I'm just going to be really confident when I say it, so it makes it seem like I know what I'm saying. Durum Natura, that is what it is called. Who knows, I may be correct. I don't actually know. I should know, but I don't. We got some Latvian braids going on the bottom. Love a good Latvian braid. This yarn is so soft and so amazing, and it's so rusticy and woolly, and I love it so much. I want to knit all the things out of this yarn. It was soft when I was knitting it, but it was still it was stiff, I would say. And then when I blocked it, it was like, oh wow, that's real nice. I am a fan for sure. And so getting to wear it, and then also like obviously we weren't gone for super long, so I tried not to pack too much, and I knew that I had this as a sweater, so I didn't really bring any other intense sweaters except for a cardigan that I wore during the day because it was also got warm. But at nighttime, I would just throw this over like my jammies if we were hanging out on the back porch or whatever. It was just wonderful, and I was like, I knit this sweater and I love it, and it was a test knit, and I got it done before the deadline, and I thought I wasn't going to for a while, and I did it. Would highly recommend. Our deadline was actually today on the 9th when I'm recording this. I'm not exactly sure when this is coming out and being released to the public, but keep your eyes peeled, especially on my Instagram, and yeah. So that was really such a wonderful feeling, because we were enjoying nature, and it was chilly, and I was wearing a deliciously woolly sweater that I love. I love the color, and I love how it looks. I love how it looks on me. I feel great wearing it. It's just, I would call it a sweatshirt, but I feel like a sweatshirt implies that it's very kind of casual. But I feel like this is just, it's too nice to be casual. But it does feel like your favorite sweatshirt. Just throw it on over anything and you'll be happy, and you'll be warm, and you'll be snuggly, and it's just like, oh, I love it so much. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, I'm very proud of myself, everyone, and you probably will be too when you see what I have to show you. And let me remove this little progress keeper. At this point, you may have guessed what it is based off of how I'm talking about it. Okay. We got that saved. It is safe, everyone. What do I have? I have 2 socks. I have 2 finished socks. They're done. They're done. This was a test knit back earlier this year. The requirement was to get 1 sock done, and then the pressure was off. Obviously, I didn't need to get the other one done right away. This is the... Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, and I had to look it up last time as well. It is by Lindsay of Lost and Fond. It's Hibernation something. Hibernation House socks. Okay, I can't remember the house. I know it's Hibernation. Hibernation House socks. So we do have a folded cuff up at the top. We have double the thickness, double the warmth. It's amazing. You can hold mohair with it if you want. You don't have to. And then we've got this great textured foot and toe. It is a gusset heel flap, all that stuff. My yarn is blue mule fiber with in the Donegal tweed base on the Doc Holiday colorway, and then my mohair is hedgehog fiber mohair in the, it's not plume. Plume is more pinky. I don't remember. It's something neon, basically. Last time I showed it to you, I had said that I wanted to get these done, but I didn't know. I just really needed to get it done. And I think I was like that far. I don't actually know if this is the sock that I just finished. I can probably tell from the toe because I really messed up the toe. Yeah, this is it. My Kitchener stitch is the worst. Do not look at my toes. That being said, I did better on the first one than I did the second. So I think I was kind of around there, and then I had a vacation cast on because treat yourself, hashtag treat yourself, and that was part of my self-care relaxation of the weekend. And I brought this, and I brought a languishing whip. I finished the socks. I made amazing progress and loved on my new cast on, and then I made amazing progress on my other languishing whip, and it was amazing. I finished this sock that evening that we got there because I worked, so the car ride was maybe about 4 hours, and I worked on the new cast on because we left around lunchtime. I worked on that for about an hour, and my thought process was that I would work on the new one for an hour, I'd work on for the socks for an hour, and then I'd do that again. But I worked on the new thing, worked on the socks, got super tired, took a nap, and then just worked on the socks for the rest of the time. After I had a wonderful nap and woke up incredibly refreshed. It was amazing. I don't know why I was so sleepy. I was like in a very intense, like 30-minute power nap. It was amazing. Anyway, so then I finished from here up that evening in the car. Actually, no, that's not true. I think I probably knit to like there in the car, and then I finished the rest of the foot and the toe while we were like checking in and all that kind of stuff, and then we went and got pizza for dinner. Because fun fact, Friday nights we always do pizza. Friday is pizza night because I love pizza. And so we got to sit outside because we were sitting outside in all the restaurants that we went to, just to be safe, and the weather was beautiful, and it was just amazing. It was so much fun. It was a trip I will remember very fondly. and I got them done, and I'm so excited. And the pattern's not out yet. It comes out on the 12th, and I like really killed it with this, and I'm so excited. I had planned to get these done. I was like, I'll just bring it and I'll maybe get it done. But I hadn't like, it wasn't, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work on these and get it done. It wasn't 100% certain that I would get them done, and the fact that I did get them done is just like, go me. Pat on the back, yeah? That's awesome. So, again, Hibernation House Socks by Lindsay of Lost and Fawn. They will be coming out November 12th. So again, keep your eyes peeled on my Instagram for pictures when they come out. This is in my Suburban Stitcher bag. She unfortunately no longer makes bags, but I do love this one very dearly, and I'm very glad to have it because it is PSL season. And in fact, the Christmas holiday drinks are coming, and I'm so excited. I'm almost done with the coffee creamer that I have, and I get to pick out a new holiday themed creamer, and I'm very excited. I just don't know which one I'm going to pick. So, what's in here? Oh, yes. I also have a new test knit to show you that I cast on. That was the other thing about the weekend, is that I didn't, technically I brought the socks. Technically it is a test knit, but I was not going to bring any test knits, no current test knits, and I wasn't going to bring my mystery knit along. I needed a break. I wanted to do something fun for me, and I wanted to knit on something or things that would make me feel good, and I know would have been good traveling projects. So, what do I show you next? Let me show you this that I worked on. This is the Languishing Whip. This is my Seabogger by Kate Davies. I'm using Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Farmhouse colorway and the Rabbit Heather colorway. Look at me remembering my facts. I finished the front. When I started this, I had maybe 2 inches of the front completed, and I finished the entire front, along with a bazillion short rows. So now I can actually like hold it out and it looks like something. It's gonna be very, very wide. It looks very oversized. And you may be wondering, did you do something wrong? That doesn't look right. And I would tell you it's because there is a dolman sleeve portion of this pattern, and so I've got a bunch of increases. And I really don't know how to hold this up and it like look like something besides just a big blanket. So let's just say I finished the front. The front is done. I did all the short rows. Looks good. I started on the back. And then once the back is done, I have little little baby sleeves because of the dolman and the drop shoulder situation. The sleeves like start here, so that's bad. Let's do from here. It's like here. So then that means I have like from a baby sleeve. How can we show this to you while being in frame? My arms are just off camera. So that is encouraging for me. I was not expecting to get that much done, and I'm very proud of myself. I really powered through. This was my, if I'm feeling car sick or feeling a little ill in the car, this was going to be my project, and it ended up being what I worked on all the way back, because I had finished the socks. I have made so much progress on my new thing, and so I was just like, I can work on this other thing, and I really want to actually, and it's gonna be so much fun. It was also my carry around thing for the day. Even though it is massive, Like the rows are obviously they're just very simple. I'm not doing anything. I'm just knitting back and forth for however many inches. And the other one has a little bit of brioche. So, which I did carry around with me on Saturday. So, it's not that I couldn't knit on it while we were doing our traveling around and whatever. But I wanted to work on this. I wanted to be able to say that I worked on all 3 projects that I brought for a weekend trip. And yeah, here we are today. And I made really amazing progress on this sweater that has been on my needles for a very long time. Over a year at this point. But we won't get into that. I will love wearing it when it is done. It is so soft. I love this yarn so much. I do think I am a little worried about it growing a lot. It may not, but I know it will grow some, so I need to be aware of that. I love the tweed. I think the tweed is amazing. I'm glad that I went with the tweed, and I also have on here my Little Bitty Delights caramel latte. That was another thing we enjoyed, was coffee shops and delicious coffee. So cute, so now I can move it. Boop. So now we can track my progress. This is very exciting. This doesn't use up a ton of yarn. I feel like I had 3 balls of each color, so 6 in total. And I'm just now on my last, I started my last farmhouse, the dark brown, because the ribbing was done in that, so you use up a little bit more of that than the other one. But yeah, I feel like it's a good usage of the yarn, or like the yardage is pretty good. And yeah, I've definitely enjoyed knitting this. It's a very simple, very straightforward pattern. Just knit until the cows come home, pretty much. So that was my other trip knitting, and now we get into my new project. You may be wondering, why in the world are you using a Vera Bradley DOP kit? I would tell you, because it's so cute. Why would you not? I actually had this DOP kit for forever ago when I was in high school? I don't know. It was left in my parents' house, I should say. It was in my old bathroom underneath the sink and whatever, and they've been cleaning out their house, and it was found, and my mom gave it to me, or gave it back to me, which is very, oh, I'm in the middle of a row. What? Okay, well, we're gonna finish this row because I don't want to talk about this while it's in the middle of the row, because it is too beautiful not to be able to show it to you in its full glory. You may have seen pictures. Why in the world did I stop in the middle of a row? Can you tell me? You may have seen pictures. I posted pictures of the yarn that I was thinking about using. This is the Birch Creek bandana by Rachel of September Knits, and oh my goodness, everybody, this is such an amazing pattern. So yeah, I posted, it came out in the Farmer's Daughters Fibers, is it the Wisp collection? No, I don't actually remember. I feel bad not remembering. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it is the Wisp collection. Look at me go. And so it came out in the Wisp collection, and that just came out, and it's such a unique pattern. Like, I know that there are bandanas and kerchiefs out there that are exactly like the same shape. It's just a square, and for some reason I've never been interested in knitting one of those. And I was never like, oh yeah, I really, really want to knit that. It's just, in my mind, I would prefer to knit a bigger shawl or like a cowl, because I wouldn't want to like have to tie anything around my neck. But when this one came out, I was like, oh, I think I need that. I think this would be very fun, and it's very different. It's not something that I would have like. It's not something that I would have picked because I did pick it, but it's like I don't know. It's a little bit outside of my box in regards to the yarn choices that I put together, and it's a little bit outside of my box of just like things that I knit, I guess. And I love that, and also it's Rachel's pattern, and it is written so everyone, like if you've never written, or never written, if you've never knit any of Rachel of September Knits patterns, you really need to, because they are so well written. They're very clear. Her sizing is amazing, and she's just such a wonderful human being, and I love her so much. She is really very incredible. So please go check out her other patterns in addition to this other one that I'm going to show you because I'm getting close to the end of the row. But yeah, so I wanted to knit it. I decided that it was going to happen. I thought about it for a while. I wanted to do it. Went stash diving, found the perfect yarn. And I was like, this is happening. This is happening, and it happened, I think I had just, was getting ready to block my sweater, I think. It was very much it felt like a reward as well, because I had just finished and powered through my test knit and was just like, I get this, I can do this. And I did it, and then it was just a nice little treat. And also, it was just very nice to take a break of my other projects and start something new, something small. Something with really nice yarn, something with yarn that I have been holding on to because I feel like it is too nice to use, which is not true. We all have those skeins that are too nice, that we feel like are too nice, and so we hold on to them forever, and then they just sit on your shelf looking at you. Which, if you want to look at them, and if you think, if it brings you most joy to see them like that, then more power to you. But also, you're like, you don't get to experience the beautiful yarn. You don't get to experience the beautiful colors or the incredible bases, the luxurious bases maybe. And so I was like, this is this time for this yarn. I have been, they haven't really fit into anything else that I wanted to do, so I feel like this is its time. This is its time. And so everybody, I get to show you now my Birch Creek bandana by Rachel of September Knits, and this is what I have so far. And now I take it away out of the frame because my yarn is stuck. Oh my goodness. Everybody. So it is a bandana. It is kind of like a big square. And we've got some 2-color garter stitch and 2-color brioche going on. And everybody, I'm using a fingering weight with silk in it. And then, actually they both have silk in it. And I have both of the ball bands in here. Okay, so they're both Farmer's Daughters fibers. And I believe they were both purchased at Maker and Stitch in Edwards, Colorado, by my wonderful mother when she went at some point. I don't remember when this trip happened, but I was not there when these were obtained, but my mom got them specifically for me. So I have Foxy Lady, which is their 70% superwash merino, 30% silk fingering weight in the color Hawk Boy. And that is this. And I can't even. Like, I knew it was beautiful in the skein, but once I caked it up, it was like, oh. And then when I started knitting with it, with the other thing, which is amazing, I was like, why had this was the perfect pattern. This is literally the perfect pattern. Rachel has written the perfect pattern. And it just worked out so well. So that's Foxy Lady in the Hawk Boy colorway. Put that back down there. And then the other thing that I am using, and I am copying one of her testers, she used a fingering weight and a Surrey. And I've been, again, this is very entertaining. I've been holding onto this yarn far too long and it really just needed to be used, and I really wanted to use it, but I just didn't know what to use it with because they were really special yarns. They are very special yarns. They do have a silk content. They are very high quality yarns. I don't get Farmer's Daughter's Fibers yarns very often. So this is very special, which is perfect for this pattern, and it was perfect for the weekend because it was very much like hashtag treat yourself. So this is the Odang base, which is 74% Surrey alpaca and 26% silk in the Heartbreak Hotel colorway. And that is this. And I did not realize in the skein, it's kind of hard to tell, but once it's caked up, and especially when you knit with it, there are so many pink and purple and blue parts besides the minty color, and it is mixed with this other fingering weight. It's just like the most perfect combination one could ever hope for. And so together it creates this. And then I also have my pumpkin pie spice or slice from Little Bitty Delights. I'm gonna move this now because I can. So I can't even with this project, like the Surrey and the fingering weight, or the single, I should call it just the single. Oh, also, I wanted to talk about this. This is brilliant. And I know that I've tested it for Rachel quite a lot, and I've talked to her quite a lot, and I am kind of biased. She is very wonderful, but also, like, her patterns are legitimately very, very well written. I know I've said that before. I will say that again. They're very well written. They're very clear. They're very well put together. Nothing is left unexplained, I should say. So I will say, if you have never done brioche before and you're looking into getting into it, I would say this is a really fun option because you just have these 4 brioche stitches every however many garter stitch rows, and so you get practice of knitting the same row twice, you get practice of doing brioche, but it's very like low commitment brioche, if you will, because you only have these little 4 stitch sections, so it's not like a whole row that you have to commit to. It's just a couple of stitches, and then you have a delightful garter in between. You get experience of just getting down the basics because you have the same row for however many inches to make the full square, and then Bob's your uncle. Bob's your brioche knitting uncle. What? You know, good old Bob, the brioche knitting uncle. So another really amazing thing about this pattern is that there is an I-cord edge all the way around, and so it creates a very nice sleek look. It's just a very nice edge. This is the cast on, and then obviously I'm continuing it up on the sides. One thing, again, very well written pattern, there are options on how to do the cast on. You can either do it with the I-cord, or you can do provisional cast on and then add it later, which I think is brilliant. Some people prefer the provisional cast on, some people prefer an I-cord. And the way that this I-cord cast on is done is something I had never done before, and has created the most beautiful and not tight I-cord edge I have ever experienced. Because like with Stephen West, most of his shawls have an I-cord at some point. Me personally, I try as I might, as hard as I try, my I-cords are never as loose as they actually should be. Which which is no one's fault but my own. And so I was aware that this was a thing, and I was prepared to like go up a needle size, because like it's supposed to be an even square. It would not look good or cute if one of the edges was significantly like sucked in and then the rest of it were regular, and then we had this really short edge of the square. Would not be a cute look. I would not be down for that. And but I wasn't 100% sure what this cast on was, and so I was like, okay, well I'll just play around with it and see what happens. It is so, like, I don't know. I just don't know. It's good for casting on a large amount of stitches, because you do cast on obviously the bottom or whatever, one of the sides, but you're doing it while creating this I-cord, and somehow magically it works, and somehow magically it's not tied at all, and it's like normally mine probably wouldn't be able to stretch, or you would definitely be able to tell that that was where I had cast on because it was so tight. But like, this would not be a perfect angle here. It would be more, very obviously the bottom was tight. But because of this type of cast on, whatever this cast on that Rachel has put into this pattern that is really brilliant, makes things so much easier. And so I learned something, and that was really amazing. I was not expecting to learn anything, and that was just really wonderful. Any other time that I'm going to be needing to do something like that, I will probably try and implement that cast on into the pattern, whatever it may be, because it was just so great. And now I've ranted on about this cast on for a very long time. I've been talking for 45 minutes already. I have still so much more to talk about. Okay, we better speed this up. I'm just very passionate about this project for more reasons than one I have already talked about. Please knit this pattern. Please go check out Rachel's other patterns if you're not into knitting neckwear, or if you want something, a bigger project or whatever. If you are interested in trying brioche, I would highly recommend checking out this pattern. It is, again, a very low commitment of brioche, but you get that beautiful feeling of brioche, and you get the look of the two color rows, and then you get to learn something new, and it's a really great way to do that. So I would highly recommend, please at least go look at it. Please go look at her pictures, because they're just really, really beautiful, and I'm glad that this was my vacation project. And like, I'm not saying that it's gonna get done next week. I don't really know if it will, but I loved it, and it's living in my Vera Bradley dop kit, because it's a happy bag. So moving on quickly, the next thing that I haven't really worked on this at all, but I'll basically talk about it. I'll reference it. Oh, hello, there are needles. Whoa! I did switch over my needles, everybody. It's so much more nice. I am so happy. So happy. I need to actually put these in there, because that is where they belong. And I'm in the middle of a row. This is my Slipstravaganza by Stephen West. It was the Mystery Knit Along of 2020. And oh my goodness, it is so much knitting. Yeah. It's big. It's massive. It's beautiful. I'm very happy with mine. I feel like this is going to be something that I need to like divide up and say I'm committing to knitting at least 2 or 3 rows a day. Otherwise, this probably will not get done. Or it's definitely something I'm going to have to schedule in my knitting time, because it's very overwhelming. The rows are almost 1,000 stitches long. What? 1,000 stitches long. Almost 1,000. They're not quite 1,000, but it's close. And I think that's what's kind of putting me off. It's just very overwhelming and I feel very daunted, and also I wanted to work on other things. So now that I've taken a break, kind of like just taking a break mentally, whatever, over the weekend, I got to work on fun things. I finished things. I made good progress. I worked on amazing yarn, and now I'm ready to get back into it and power through and get this edging done and this mile long I-cord bind off. Are we prepared? I don't think I'm prepared. But I've seen so many beautiful ones and I'm so excited to finish, and I think it will be so much fun to wear. It'll be such a blanket. So I didn't make any progress. I think I did make progress, but it's very hard to show you because I'm in the middle of a row and it is massive. But hopefully this will be done soon, and then I can show it to you in all of its beautiful slip extravaganza glory. So moving along, I have my new test knit, and I want to pull up a picture of it because it is so beautiful. So I am test knitting this for Susan of Yeoni Knits. It is this. I showed this to you last week. And last week I did not have any of my yarns picked out. And last week I didn't have any of it cast on. And this week both those things have happened. Which is kind of important because I couldn't cast it on without having picked out my colors. But details, you know. We're just giving you all the information. I have knit 1.5 rows. So, and I'm in a very delicate position right now. I was thinking about this as these needles are now I'm going to put them back in that bag because there's just not room right now. I was thinking about this as I was trying to be very careful of a very precarious position of trying to not twist all these stitches. The stress is real, you know. I'm sure we all have had the sad experience of having to rip things out because you got it twisted when you were joining in the round. I've had such sad experiences. Some of them have made me cry. It was very sad. But I am more wise and more experienced in my knitting adventure, knitting life, whatever you want to call it, and so I have tips of my own that I now follow and whatever. So I feel a little bit more confident, but there's part of me that's like, this doesn't, it might get twisted, and I just feel uncomfortable. But I don't have time to knit around more times so it doesn't get twisted. So this looks like a sweater, right? This definitely looks like a sweater. This is a bottom-up sweater, which is why I cast on so many stitches. This is a bottom-up sweater. You divide for the fronts and the back, and then you have your beautiful sleeves. This is a faded sweater with some wonderful slip stitch texture, and all my yarn is in this bag, and it will probably be very difficult for me to hold up all those balls of yarn. So I'm actually going to show you a picture that I took of my yarn fade. All stash. I took so many pictures from this weekend and I'm very excited. Also including my finished object pictures. Very happy. There was an outdoor shower. That was interesting. I forgot to mention that. I also have a lot of screenshots from Snapchat of my nephew because he's with my parents this week. The next couple weeks. Where is this picture? Oh, here it is. So, yes. All this is from Stash. Most of it is knit picks with the exception of a couple in the darker purple area, but it is basically light gray, a blue gray, a very, very light purple, and then starts like pinky, purpley, browny purple, and then the dark purple. But it is like the most perfect fade, and I am so excited! So excited. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how exactly I'm fading things, but I'm gonna have fun with it, and I think it'll be a lot of interesting, fun, you know? So from here, this is Life in the Long Grass. I'm gonna be fading into that. And then from there, I think I go to there. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe from there to there to there. That might be it. Either way, this is Life in the Long Grass. This is actually from my secret test knit that I did this year, the super secret test knit, and it's really nice to use up this yarn, and I'm very excited. Actually, I think I have the other color that I used in here as well, but I don't think that made the cut actually of the fade. Anyway, this is another very well written pattern. Susan actually had another shawl, or a shawl come out also in the Wisp collection with Farmer's Daughters fibers, which is super exciting. But other than that, she's a very new designer, which is really super exciting for her, and I'm really very honored to be able to work with her on this. I'm very, very excited. I know I've said excited a lot, but I am excited. Yes. And just, I haven't obviously gotten through the whole pattern because I'm trying not to twist things, which is very early on in the process of knitting this sweater. But just looking at the pattern, it is very well written. The range of sizes is just amazing. She's clearly put in a lot of work into the way that it's written. There's a lot of individual instructions for each, not each size, but for some of the sizes you do have your individual instructions, which I think is really great. There's instructions on how to put in your own bust starts if that is something that you want or that's something you need. And it was cool because I saw that she basically taught you how to do the math, or she gave you the formula of how to do the math, and I was like, I've never seen that in a pattern. I think that is amazing. So I thought that was super cool. There's also it's very well laid out, and yeah, so I'm very excited to obviously continue working through this pattern and testing it for her. But from my run through of circling all my numbers, it just seems like a very well written, very straightforward pattern, and I'm very excited to put these colors into this beautiful sweater and be able to use stash, and yeah, just helping Susan expand her designing career and all that kind of stuff by being able to test this. And not that my testing is going to help a whole lot, but I do get to show you guys, which is very exciting. So I am looking forward to working on this. That's probably going to become my top priority, along with this sample that's I'm about to show you, and the Mystery Knit Along. There's a lot of things that need to be in the rotation. Anyway, so let's move along. This is a very long episode, I do apologize. But yes, that is my test for Susan, and I'm very excited to continue working on that. Moving along to my yarn acquisitions, we are almost done. Let's show this first, because this last little bit that I got for the sample, the colors are just so good. So, going to the Tinsmith's Wife was so much fun. It was such a wonderful experience. It's a massive, massive shop. They have a lot of yarn, but they have even more of needlepoint. So if you're into that, or if that's something that interests you or whatever, that is like needlepoint heaven, I feel like. But But they also have a ton of yarn, and they have a lot of more commercial yarns. They have a lot of indie dyed stuff. They've got a lot of brands in between, which is very exciting. And so I settled on the fiber company Erinmore, the Donegal Heritage. Is a black tweed. It is 80% wool, 10% silk, and 10% cashmere. Excuse me. Based off of the, is this like a DK? I don't know what exactly it is, but it is the light version, because I think the regular Erinmore is like a chunky weight, but this is the light. So I feel like this is probably a sport weight, and maybe a heavy sport. Anyway, my plan is to do a shawl. That is what I wanted to do. Because I just really love this rustic. There's something in my throat. I think it's time for a tea break. I love the rustic. I love the tweed. I really like the black. I think it is very beautiful. But yeah, there is the ball band. 328 yards. I don't plan on doing anything fancy by any means. It'd probably be very simple, and in fact I may just do something like the boneyard or something like that, which I think would show off this yarn very well, and that would be my point. Blending cashmere and silk with a fine merino wool creates an authentic tweed yarn of the finest quality. With a color palette reminiscent of the wild Irish coastlands, this yarn was designed for makers appreciating the best of luxury and tradition. Happy knitting! So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I had a hard time picking what exactly I wanted to get, because I just wanted to get one skein because I didn't want to get too much and then like be overwhelmed. But the one skein would be a special thing, so I am very happy with my choice. And then I also got to pick out something for my mom, and I got to pick out something for my sister, and we all got different things. And I like specifically picked out things for each one of them, which was very fun. And Sam got to say as well, so that was very entertaining. So the last thing that I'm going to share with you is this yarn that I was sent by, sent from Diane at the Suburban Stitcher to knit a sample for her, and I am so excited, everybody. This color, I can't even. So I have, excuse me, I have one skein of slub and I have one skein of mohair, and I will be knitting Tassels in the Sky by Vincent Villapando. He is the Knit Owl on Instagram, and I am super excited to knit this. It is a free pattern. This is on his Instagram, but it's a very simple shawlette with massive tassels, and again it's one skein of slub and one skein of mohair. Or really whatever you want to put together to make a DK. And I have the color Maple, which is a new color for Suburban Stitcher, and Diane described this to me as Diane's fall colors, which I think is very accurate. It's pink, but it's very autumnal, and there's some beautiful brown undertones. But it's still pink, and I think this is just so beautiful. It's reading very pink, more pink on the camera. Hopefully on my computer it'll read a little bit more accurately, but so yes, I have the slub and I have the mohair. I'm not sure if this is available to purchase from her shop yet, her online store, which is suburbanstitcher.com if you were interested. But she has beautiful yarns. So yeah, I need to get this wound up immediately. We actually checked the mail before we left and drove out of town, and this was in the mail. So I had it in the car. I was just not able to wind it up. But this needs to be wound up as soon as possible so I can get this sample started, and then I'll send the sample back to her and she will have that. So that's very exciting. I do enjoy sample knitting. I haven't done a ton of it before, but I do enjoy it. I've only knit samples for her, actually. But yes, this is the maple colorway. I'm so excited. I love this so much. When she posted the picture that this was like one of her new colors, I was like, oh my goodness gracious, that is a beautiful. Like, can we even? That's showing it pretty accurately. I love it. Stunning. So yeah, that needs to be cast on ASAP. I need to wind it. That'll be a thing. But just turn on a Hallmark Christmas movie, you know, because it'll be here before you know it. Gotta love this Hallmark Christmas movies. Anyway, that is all that I have for you guys today. This was much longer than I expected it to be, but I didn't know that I had a lot to talk about. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for sitting through my rambling and all that stuff, repeating the same word over and over again in different sentences, as I often do. You are wonderful. Thank you for commenting and subscribing and all that jazz. Following me on Instagram, sending me messages. It really does mean so much to me that people even want to watch this podcast. Like, I'm just a normal person sitting in front of a camera, and I don't think that why would people want to watch me? But I appreciate all of you who have subscribed and continue to watch over the years, because I've been doing this for a very long time at this point. You are wonderful and you mean so much to me. Like I said at the beginning, social medias, show notes, couldn't think of the word, show notes, all that stuff will be all the places. I have something in my eye. It's probably mohair fluff. Yep, that was mohair fluff. You know, a worthy cause though, because it is beautiful. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I have a lot of crafty plans in place and crafty plans to begin, crafty plans to hopefully end soon and finish and just make progress on. I keep looking at this Miss Drained along at him. It's just like staring at me. Not that it has eyes, but it does have big holes in it, that's for sure. Those big holes are staring at me. I don't know. Anyway, fun test knit stuff, sample stuff, vacation knit stuff, languishing whips, and finished objects. So we'll see if I have any finished objects for you next week. I don't know what they would be. I don't know, unless I pull out another languishing object that's very close to being finished. I'll have to figure it out, but no promises, no promises. Anyway, thank you again so much for hanging out with me. I've had a wonderful time. I hope you were successful with your folding of laundry or whatever. I still have one more load to fold, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Yes. That is all that I have to say, I guess. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.